It's all good. Welcome to the Too Much to Say podcast, episode 16.5. Coming at you on the 21st of July 2018. We're going to be covering Fortnite with the Summer Skirmish Week 2, NBA Hot Stove, all the not really more of the signings, actually a couple of trades this week. Kind of the state of of Major League Baseball, and also NFL kneeling is back thanks to some basically a really poor decision by the NFL. But we're gonna go ahead and we'll get into that later. First things first, let's cover Fortnite. More specifically, the Fortnite Summer Skirmish. We came into week 2, which I am fascinated by what Epic Games is doing with Fortnite. They, like I said, I think last pod, yeah, that Epic has basically committed internally to spend $100 million during the 2018 and 2019 season, if you will, of Fortnite towards building it as an esport. Part of that is an 8-week summer skirmish series where they're going. Basically, there's going to be $8 million worth of prizes handed out to the winners of these different events. Last week we had a duos tournament, which quite frankly was awesome in some ways. I mean, I loved the way it was conceived. It didn't turn out very well in execution. As we talked about last time, they tried out their private server for the first time, and it was riddled with lag. That was all built around winning the rounds rather than getting kills. So this week, they decided to do the exact opposite. They put it on public servers. It's not duos, but solos, and it's all focused on kills. Now, I like it focused on kills, but it was almost too focused on kills. And I thought it was really weird that there were 2 days worth of solos. Like, basically, the format's like this. Each player who's invited plays 10 public solo games, and the results of those games is summed in the total of their points. They get points for every kill they get 1 point, and they get 5 points for winning. But if they get 20 kills in one game, they get an additional 10 points and $10,000. And so the total of their points is added up, and that's their total score. Whoever has the most points wins. Now, I liked it from a kill standpoint. I loved the fact that everyone was being hyper aggressive, trying to get as many kills as possible. But what I didn't like, it felt too snowbally from the point perspective. If you get 20 kills, you get an additional 10 points and $10,000. If you get 20 kills, you're probably going to win this tournament anyway if you do that consistently. 20 kills is 20 points. It's now 20 points plus 10, so now it's a minimum 30 points, and if you win, that's 5 points. So getting 20 kills and winning was worth 35 points. Getting 19 kills and winning was worth 24 points. I love the idea. I didn't think it was necessary. I guess it was more like a way to catch up if you were not consistently good. I would have liked to have seen them do, maybe you play 12 games and it's your best 10 games. After all, these battle royale games like Fortnite are very luck based sometimes. Like, you land, you don't get a gun. You land places where there's guns 90% of the time, but that 10% you don't get a gun. And somebody else lands and grabs your gun and shoots you, and you just got 0 points. And I saw multiple streamers with 0-point rounds. And then you had, someone go off for 20, 23. Oh, and the other way was whoever had the most kills in a single game I believe got $60,000. Like I said, I love it. Let's go after kills. But damn, gum. That I mean, that's hyper focused. I guess is what like it's too much. And the other thing is, it might have been worth 50. The other thing I didn't like was the fact that we're gonna do this on public servers. I know the private server had issues, but the future of Fortnite as an esport, in my opinion, is got to be these private games where all of the competitors are in a single game. To me, that's a lot more compelling to watch. I like watching Fortnite. I enjoy it regardless of the format. I do. But like the duos had such a potential. Like knowing that everyone in the game, everyone in the lobby is really good. Imagine doing that with solos. 100 solos, and then you do a point system like we talked about last week. I mean, this point system I like. I put winning as 3 points, and then second 2 points, third place 1 point, and then each kill is worth 1 point. And then so like winning, it's not worth that much in this scenario, and every person you're going to play, you know, is really hard to kill. I would love to see that in a solos or a duos. It would be it'd be so much there'd be so much drama at the end of the game because everybody, you know, everyone's so good in the lobby as opposed to, you go into a game, variable skill level, somebody might get a hard game where somebody else gets an easy game. And it should balance out over 10 games, but it may not. I I mean I just they have to I think that they are going to work on getting this private lobby thing. Maybe they'll practice that, hopefully they'll get that functional before next weekend. Very interested to see what the third week of Summer Skirmish will be. I don't really like. I guess this is my other complaint for. Yeah, this is my other complaint for Epic is kind of the communication they've got going about these in the Summer Skirmish. I, I have no idea what week 3 is or week 4. This is 8 weeks. Why are we not laying this out? Why have they not just laid this out? Week 1's going to be this. Week 2's going to be this. Week 3's going to. I mean, if you can't do that, if you can't just lay out all 8 weeks, you by Saturday of the week before the next one, like your casters at the end of week 2 should be able to tell, hey guys, tune in for week 3, and we're going to be doing a squads tournament or whatever it is. And it's going to be on the private server. They should have week 3 figured out by week 2. I mean, I know the whole kind of what they're going for here. This $8 million is really to just kind of feel out the community, feel out the competitive scene. But I feel like it's been so hard to kind of like scrape data from Epic to find out what the next week is going to be. Yeah, and also just Epic. Everyone has to stream. If a player can't stream, they can't participate. It doesn't work. The whole I drop bodies controversy that that raged, but that kind of marred week 1 week 2 day 1 was completely unnecessary. It should have never gotten to that point. There was no reason for us to question I drop bodies kill total. I mean, hold on. Let me pull that up real quick. Week 2 day 1 there. So week 1 day 1 or week 2 day 2. Week 2 day 1. It was just really weird. In my opinion, I don't like the whole 2 day system. What? Why are we doing 2 days and why are they completely unrelated? Week 1, day 1 has its whole own like people make. I believe they're going to get paid off of this. So like I Drop Bodies is going to get first place, second place, but then there's it's basically 2 different tournaments. Week 1, day 1 and day 2 are completely different tournaments. Epic just has a little bit of Epic's got to learn. That's all it is. I don't. They're not doing that great of a job. Uh, kind of organizing the tournaments yet. They're maxing out at around. I mean, just to put this into perspective, they're maxing out around 100,000 viewers. I mean, maybe all combined is 300,000 to 400,000, which is a lot for every esport, except for Fortnite. Ninja maxed out around 600,000 viewers or something like that for his Las Vegas event. Like, if you guys need somebody to ask about this, Ninja would probably be a good person to. I mean, you can, if you want to listen to me, that'd be cool too. But like, there's no reason that you got your events. I mean, he had like no money. All the money was going to charity. These kids were. Oh yeah, I mean, I think they could win like 20,000 or something, or it wasn't that much. It may have been less. I don't remember anymore. But there were 600,000 viewers for his event, the Las Vegas event. You have way more money on the line, and and you're getting 400,000, and it's all spread out amongst the different streamers, and your main stream is like 100,000, and that was today. Last night it was less because you actually had the real brand name streamers, and they had their own people watching. But I just think that you guys need to do a better job in organizing this, getting the word out, marketing it. I mean, I'm very excited. I love the summer skirmish, but why is it hard for me to know when this is going to be and what the stakes are going to be? It, you have a fantastic game. Just market it a little better. This is a great idea. Love it. It definitely will draw more of the talented gamers. I mean, these are $250,000 tournaments, and people don't have to go anywhere. They can just show up, get online. And I love that you're actually uh, rewarding people who played really well during the 50. There were, what was it called? And there was like a special game mode where it's kind of the hardcore game mode, and you're rewarding people for playing that. And I really love that. That I think that definitely builds loyalty. Um, and I'm also really glad to see the eye drop bodies controversy, I guess, go away. It was a little weird. I mean, Epic came out. Just to clarify, as you can see, eye drop bodies scored 184 points. No one had heard of eye drop bodies, and eye drop bodies did not stream the event. They later posted their VODs, and everybody could watch them. But that is just a bad look. Like, that's why I said you have to make. If you can't stream, you can't play. That's the difference between someone actually being live at an event and being able to stay at home. If you're going to stay at home for something, it has to be publicly available. People have to be able to see you play, because look at some of the names on this list who finished beneath eye drop bodies: FaZe Cloak, Nick Merckx, Typical Gamer, Daquan, Ninja, Tfue. We're talking about some of the best players in Fortnite, and a lot of them finished substantially less than eye drop bodies, who no one had ever heard of. Even Cloak, who took second, got beaten by 19 points. That's huge, and nobody could see you play. There has to be a better way. You can't. Well, sorry, there is a better way. Don't let somebody who's not streaming participate. If you want to do no streamers, then you should host a local event where people have to fly in or drive in to participate. So, but basically they came out and they said that everything was legit. So I hope that squashes the controversy for this week. But next week he can't participate unless he streams. That's how I would handle it if I was Epic. I would say, listen, the rules said you could do this round. Next week you have to stream, pure and simple. This dude, eye drop bodies. I think he got like $130,000 because he knocked out. He took first place. He had, I think, 20 kill games, and he had the most kills in a single game. So he ended up getting like $130,000, and nobody could watch him do it. Like that's a feel like that's a feels bad, man. Like you can't do that. Um, so yeah, I would definitely recommend. Like I said, everyone has to stream. Make it a joint lobby. I mean, if you do a joint lobby, in that way, kind of people don't have to stream, but you guys still have to work on your in-game client to where you can under the observer, so you can flash to anybody. Because if you're in a joint lobby, the private lobby, then everybody's in there anyway, and it has to be legit. Whereas this was solo public matches. Um, and then I would say play if you're gonna do this solos again with the 10 public matches. I would say make it 12 matches, keep 10 scores. I just think that the game has a little too much randomness to avoid doing something like that. Also, do it in one day. I mean, if you think you have too much content for Friday night, do it on Saturday night. Also, please don't do it on Friday night, so that we can actually have Friday night Fortnite. Because still the best Fortnite tournament there is. I love watching the two. The only way you can make Friday night Fortnite better is if you did it the same way Summit 1G was doing his duels, where you would have two duo teams queue up at the same time, make sure they are in the same lobby, and then play it out. That would take Friday Night Fortnite up a notch, because then the duos could at the end kill each other, and I would love to see that. I would love to see that. So that would be so much better. I'll say this: the commentators were a lot better today and yesterday. Having Hamlin's on there, I I think I'd like to just see like Hamlin's and Daquan on there. I mean, I'd rather watch Daquan play, but than have him on the caster. But I'd love to have Hamlin's and Daquan on there just goofing off the entire time. Don't take this stuff seriously. It's Fortnite. It's a video. It's a silly game that has a lot of talent, like has a high skill cap. So, but I'd love to see. I still didn't like the other commentator. He's a little too dry for me. I felt like he was holding Hamlin's back. We need more ridiculous Hamlins. But yeah. But yeah, it was great to have another tournament. I look forward to the next. Look forward to the next one. Hopefully, I'd love to know what the next one's going to be, and I hope it's not on Friday night. Let's see if they have. Let's see if there's week 2 day 3. Is there going to be? This is the thing. I'm not even certain. I'm now that I'm looking it up. I guess there isn't one. I didn't even know there were. I guess I wasn't following too serious. Woo. I guess I wasn't following too seriously the main cast, but like your marketing and announcements have got to be better. You have to link, and I swear all the stuff that I find out about Fortnite is coming from third parties, like all these tournaments. That you guys have to do better. There has to look at League of Legends. League of Legends does a much better job announcing their stuff through their main account, through their subreddit, through on the Fortnite, like on the Riot, through Riot Games. Riot does a better job. So anyway, let's cover. I do want to look at. I guess we looked at this one. It was really what's also was weird about the 2 days is the fact that day 1 had all the name brand streamers. I mean, look at it. We had Cloak, Nick Merckx, Typical Gamer. Typical Gamer he participates in a lot of the Friday Night Fortnite. We had Daquan, Ninja, Tfue, and these are just the top 20. What you're looking at here is the top 20. These are people in the money. But you also had Tim the Tap Man, Dr. Lupo, Hysteria. That all I felt like all the big names played on Friday night, and then we have today. I mean, I follow Fortnite pretty I've watched all the Friday night Fortnites, and I look at this top 20, and I don't know anybody. I mean, I've heard of some of the clans they're in, I guess, but obviously Fnatic, if he's actually in Fnatic, Solary, I've heard of them, but I haven't heard any of these guys in the Fortnite scene anyway. And it's so weird to me to have that broken into two separate groups. Why would you have all the big names Friday night and then Saturday is kind of a letdown? Again, that whole 2-day thing and not having them really connected is really strange to me. And I'm not a fan. Not a fan. But I look forward to week 3, and hopefully we get some Friday night Fortnite next week. I didn't appreciate the lack of Friday night Fortnite this past week. Let me just pull this up so we can look at them. So there's no changes. Tfue still remains in the lead. Cloak at number 2. I guess I could have changed this up to where it shows weekly changes nothing, because none of these have changed this week because we didn't have Friday night Fortnite. Just wanted to throw that out there again. Hopefully next week we have Friday night Fortnite to come back to talk about. All right, go ahead and transition. Let's go back to something that happened a long time ago now. Since this is Saturday the 21st, and it was on Sunday the 15th. There it is. Let's go to the cover. Oh, I didn't even put it up here. World Cup Finals. I just need to pat myself on the back a little bit. But I ended up finishing the knockout round with a 14-2 prediction record. I missed 2 games. I missed and this is not spread wise. No, I mean I didn't get the scores weren't perfect, but I missed the England versus Croatia game, and I missed Russia versus Spain. But because France ended up beating Croatia, probably all know that now. It's like I said, it's been a week, but yeah, 14-2. I'll say this though, I felt like knockouts went a lot. I feel like I only picked really one upset the entire time. I mean, I guess you could say Sweden over Switzerland might have been an upset. I didn't think so, but I'd say Belgium over Brazil was an upset. I think that's like the main upset I actually picked. So there were a total of 3 upsets, I guess, and I picked 1 out of 3. If we look at it like that, but I don't know, it was a good game. I enjoyed it. I think that I just think there was a lot of controversy around whether or not that was a handball, and by definition, I think by the rule of the law, it was a handball. I don't see anything. I couldn't see anything that anybody else saw. Basically what I saw was a person with their hands in the air, and the ball gets kicked down near your side, and he moves his hands out. And I understand why the referee couldn't see it live, but when he went to the VOD, the video review, it was plain as day, and I felt that the commentators. I was watching the BBC. Apparently, other people watched others said the same thing. The commentators were all super negative about it, but it was a handball. That is what a handball is. That's what a handball. That's how you call a handball. They called it that way the entire tournament. You can't just be like, oh well, this is the finals. I can't call a handball like that. I will say it was kind of a bad beat on the foul that led to the first goal, which was where Griezmann got bumped from the side. I mean, it was a bad play by the Croatian player. there's no reason for you to bump Griezmann there. But I probably wouldn't have called it. And then it's a double bad beat because your own man freaking heads the ball back into your goal. I mean, the refs made a mistake, and then Croatia made a small mistake and then a big mistake, and it led to a goal. And it feels bad, but just don't do that. Then it didn't decide the goal. And let's be honest, France had their own just colossal error with Loris, basically just gifting them a goal. That was shocking, where the ball was played back to the keeper, and Croatia closed in on the keeper real fast, which they do all the time. And then he basically waited for the player to get all the way up on him, and then he kicked it to the player's left. And the player just stuck his leg out, grabbed it, and kicked it in the goal. Basically, Lloris cost himself the Golden Glove, most likely. I ended up going to Courtois. Speaking of, I guess I don't have it here, but I thought the awards that went out were appropriate. Modric won the Golden Ball. Mbappe ended up. Oh, Mbappe, yeah. Sorry, Mbappe and Pogba's goals were beautiful. I mean, that's the reason. I'm glad they both happened, because that made it so where when France won, it wasn't a big deal, and they ended up winning because of themselves rather than what was perceived as mistakes. I just said there was no controversy. I don't think there should have been anyway, because I felt like the handball was a handball, and the free kick. I mean, at the end of the day, your own player, Mandzukic, there it is, isn't it Mandzukic? I mean, it was his fault for heading it in the goal. Mind you, he's also the guy who stole the ball from Lloris and kicked it in. So, I mean, he kind of balanced himself out. But so Luka Modric from Croatia won the Golden Ball. That's best player of the tournament. Mbappe got best young player of the tournament. Courtois from Belgium, the keeper, ended up getting Golden Glove. That's best keeper of the tournament. And then the Golden Boot went to Harry Kane. That's most goals. That one's just stats. He had 6 goals. Everybody else had fewer. I have no issues with any of those. I thought Modric played fantastically the entire tournament. Maybe bar a little bit of the final game, but I'm okay with the Golden Ball going to him. Mbappe looked fantastic. Courtois was amazing. And obviously Harry Kane got his statistical goal, statistical award. So no issues there. No controversies. I thought that. Oh, final thought is I loved the reaction from both presidents of the countries, both President of France, President of Belgium. I loved how the dignity of Croatia and the joy of France, and the way they watching him just jump out of his chair when the whistle blew, and how excited he was. I mean, that's one of the things that makes sports so special, makes the World Cup so special, is having entire countries celebrate. So that was good. I enjoyed it, but this week, that's in the past though. I'm a little, like I said, this basically 6 days in the past. I did predict it last pod, but I wanted to get a little bit of. Oh, not that guy. Where's my enemy? I wanted to just cover it a little bit here so I could, well, toot my own horn. No, I'm just kidding. But this week, the NBA was very. I thought we weren't going to be covering. I didn't cover NBA free agency last week. There were some minor things that happened. I didn't think we'd be covering it this week. but major things happened. We had basically two massive trades. One we kind of knew was coming, not necessarily the entire details, but we knew that the main player was getting traded, and the other one, I I am shocked. But so first trade was Kawhi Leonard getting traded. San Antonio finally broke it off. I don't know if I've talked about Kawhi on the pod at all, but Kawhi Leonard was one of my favorite players for for a long time. I've always respected San Antonio, and I loved him just handling his business. You know, no fuss, no muss. Just get in there, get it done. He's the claw. He was the best defender in the league. I mean, I had him, I guess, in 2016 in that when they were in the Western Conference Finals against the 73 win Warriors. I had him as the best player best player in that series. So he was the second best player in the league to LeBron at that point. And then this whole injury thing was handled about as poorly as possible by the players possible. There's I can't think of how he could have handled this more poorly. His lack of communication with the team, with the public, and for some reason he thinks that he needs to go to the Los Angeles Lakers to, I guess, get bigger shoe deals because he was mad about the deal that was coming over from Jordan. I'm gonna be honest with you, Kawhi. You're not gonna get a shoe deal if you act like this. Like I guess you're surprised you're not getting a massive shoe deal when you're the second best player in the league and you think that it's because you're in San Antonio. But I have a news flash for you, bud. It's not. It's because you don't have personality, or at least you don't want to share that personality with the world. I don't blame you. I have no issue with you being introverted. None whatsoever. Like I said, I loved that. I, I loved that you did that. I loved how quiet you were and how just down to earth, down to business. That was Kawhi Leonard. And now for you to be this drama queen where you just sit out an entire season, I get it. Your leg hurts. Maybe that's legitimate. It seems like it is. But bro, you have to come out to the public and tell us. Like just you communicating through your agent who has no other clients and seems like a complete rookie. And then what seems like you're just being controlled by your Uncle Dennis, dude, it just looks bad. Like perception is reality on these things. Like if you want to write the narrative, you have to write the narrative. You need a different agent, a different publicist, and honestly, just ignore your Uncle Dennis. Tell him to go away. He's not. I maybe he has your best interest, but he has no idea what he's doing. At the end of the day, get a good agent. Go get an experienced agent. These agents do. It is very clear that NBA agents have the best interests of their clients. Well, it's because they're also their best interest. They're going to get them that money, and there's a lot of money in the NBA per player. But anyway, so Kawhi has been, as you probably know, wanting to go to LA and has broadcasted it through the back channels of his agent and whatever that he wanted to go to LA. They'll play for Los Angeles Lakers. And he basically torpedoed anything and everything that San Antonio wanted to do. San Antonio wanted to bring him back. So what San Antonio did this week was trade him to the Toronto Raptors. On the other, as it is now known, the anti-Los Angeles, Toronto, the one of the coldest cities in the NBA, the only city out of the country in the NBA. I mean, I'm not saying I have problems with Toronto. It just seems like poetic justice. You want to put us through this? All right, screw you, buddy. You're going to you're going to you're going to Canada, and I love Canada, but still, it's funny. So he went over there. It was Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green for DeMar DeRozan, Jakob Puedl, and a top 20 2019 first round pick. It seems like he'll probably get that pick. If and as of this podcast, I think it was yesterday that Kawhi Leonard did actually report to the Raptors because we weren't really sure he was going to. So he's in Toronto. Um, and to be honest, I like this trade. I have no issues with it. A lot of people are giving. I mean, if I'm San Antonio, obviously I'd rather keep Kawhi. Kawhi's second best player in the league, but they ended up getting a third team All NBA guy in DeMar DeRozan, and honestly, a great sidekick to LaMarcus Aldridge. They now have two of the top 15 players in the NBA, at least last season. I mean, I'm excited. I just think that people are underselling how good San Antonio is going to be. I mean, San Antonio ended their season, what, fifth? What was it? I believe they ended at fifth. Hold on. I believe they were fifth. Standings. No, my bad. They were ended seventh this year. Wow, I was off. They ended seventh. Yeah, that's right, because they ended up playing Golden State in the first round. But they ended up seventh, and they just added to their team third team All NBA guard, which they were clearly lacking. I mean, I think you're now running out. DeMar DeRozan. Hopefully, you can play him at. I think. I'd run him out there. I'd run him out there with DeJounte Murray, and LaMarcus Aldridge. You got Pau Gasol, you got Rudy Gay. I mean, I just think this is a really nice team. I would. I think they'll probably. I think they'll finish in the top five, top four. I think obviously Golden State, if they try, is the best team in the league. Um, but the Rockets are going to take a step backwards, and there's. Uh, I think it's a really good team. I like this trade. And if you're Toronto, there's not really. You're not. It doesn't feel like that much of a gamble. I mean, I get it if you're. Um, it sucks to. I mean, I know DeMar DeRozan was like a fan favorite in Toronto, but at the same time, you guys, your best two players are guards, not wings, but like little guards, and you're never going to win a championship with that. If you can somehow convince Kawhi Leonard to stay in Toronto, I mean, if he plays and if he's 100%, they're probably the second best team in the East, maybe the first best team in the East. Boston is obviously ridiculous. And I'd still give them an edge just from a talent depth perspective. So I would have them one, and then Toronto two. But Kawhi Leonard is, I mean, he was the second best player in 2016. If he comes back 100%, he'll be the second best player. So to add that to your team, give your team a shot. It sucks to lose DeMar. I know Toronto loved him, but you have to make this trade. It's either this is a boom or bust. You either strike gold and you guys are the best team in the first or second best team in the East with a chance to do some real damage because you have Kawhi Leonard who can guard anybody in the NBA. Or he and that happens this season, but then he decides not to stay. I mean that like if he comes back and he's 100%, you might be able to win a championship. You'll get to at least the Eastern Conference Finals, and maybe that convinces him to stay. If it doesn't, then you had your shot at least. You weren't going to have a shot just running it back with Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan. So I like this trade a lot. The second trade that happened, I like a lot less because I'm an Atlanta Hawks fan. I'm from Atlanta. And I being an Atlanta fan is a difficult thing. At least Atlanta Hawks. We we just I don't man. I just feel like they're drunk behind the wheel. We trade. Okay, this is the trade. Atlanta trade receives Carmelo Anthony, a top 14 protected first round pick in 2022 from OKC, and Jacob Anderson from Philadelphia. Philadelphia gets Mike Muscala from Atlanta. Oklahoma City gets Dennis Schroeder from Atlanta and Timothy Luwalu-Cabarrot from Philadelphia. Dennis Schroeder, who has been the best player on our team the last 2 to 3 years. Not saying he's top 30 in the NBA, but he's a fairly decent point guard. And for him, we got a top 14 protected first round pick from OKC, which is going to be, we're going to get that. I mean, 2022, I think they'll still have Paul George and Russell Westbrook at that point. But that's 2022. That's in 4 years. That's almost irrelevant. I mean, yeah, in 4 years we'll start to talk about it. I'd like to think that the Hawks won't be building in 4 years. I'm not saying that like they need to be great next year, but I'd like to think that we're not building in 4 years, that we're already there. If this was a 2019 pick, if this is a 2019 pick, I'd feel differently. And if it had a chance to be half decent, I mean, it's a tradable asset, I suppose. But we traded Dennis Schroeder because, and Carmelo, we're just going to waive him. We're going to pay him $27.9 million to get him off of our team because he doesn't want to play for the Hawks. Not that I want him to play for the Hawks, but we traded Dennis Schroeder and Mike Muscala for $27.9 million in dead cap for the 2018-2019 season. And Jacob Anderson, who's a nobody, and a pick in 2022. That's top 14 protected. That's the best we could do. That is horribly depressing from Atlanta out. And on the other side, amazing for the OKC. So there are positives, just zero positives for the Hawks, in my opinion. I mean, congratulations. You got Dennis Schroeder off your books. I know he had like a 3-year deal, but he's actually a good point guard. We couldn't trade him to another team for something actually valuable. I mean, we couldn't trade him just straight up for a couple picks, for more than one pick, like more than one pick, and no Carmelo Anthony dead contract. The best we could do is save Oklahoma City a lot of money. I don't know if there's a wink handshake deal, underneath something. Or this is the worst deal ever from an Atlanta Hawks perspective. I just don't understand what's happening. I get it. Yay, we have more cap space next year. We got one pick. One lousy pick in this deal. We got 0 picks from Philadelphia and one lousy pick from. I mean, they ended up saving Oklahoma City by doing this. Ends up saving $100 million next year by avoiding the cap, avoiding the luxury tax in luxury tax and salary. And the other thing, I've listened to so many other people talk about this, and they're like, "Yeah, it's a good deal, good for Atlanta's trying to rebuild, and this is." I just think no one gives. I don't think anyone gives two shits about the Atlanta Hawks. That's for what I mean. I don't blame them. I mean, we suck. We haven't been good in like as long as I can remember. And everyone who says that 60 win team was good, that 60 win team was a worse version of the Toronto Raptors. The same Toronto Raptors that just fired their head coach and traded their best player. Like, I this is a horrible trade. Congratulations, Oklahoma. This is our gift, the Atlanta's gift to you. We are, we just gifted you $100 million. So, congratulations. uh, I'm. This is why in Atlanta we don't. We're not just Atlanta Hawk fans. In Atlanta, we are fans of players because there's no reason. There's no team here to be proud of, at least from a basketball perspective. And anyway, it's just congratulations, OKC and Philadelphia. You got a good player in Mike Muscala. So that's the two major trades. That should be the end of the trades for the NBA offseason. I mean, something else crazy could happen. If it does, we will surely cover it here. But we do have just one signing, and this one's not a big signing. It's more of a meme signing and forming the meme team in Los Angeles. The Los Angeles Lakers this offseason have now signed Rajon Rondo. Well, let's start. LeBron James, Rajon Rondo, JaVale McGee, Lance Stevenson, and this week, Michael Beasley. Oh man, I tell you what, it'll be an interesting team. I look forward to seeing it on the court, but this is like I think they're missing like J.R. Smith to have like the all meme dream team because I mean you've got Rajon Rondo, you've got Michael Beasley, Lance Stevenson. That is just it'll be interesting. It is in many ways. I mean they have a lot of good players already. They have um, Brandon Ingram, they have Kyle Kuzma, they have Lonzo Ball, and then LeBron James. So it'll be interesting to see how they take all of these pieces and put them all together. At the very least, what they have done is made Los Angeles very interesting. The West, I know everyone talks about this, but the West is very interesting this year. There's just they lost one superstar who didn't even play in the West last year. So, but they gained LeBron James, lost Kawhi Leonard. Like that, and like there wasn't even LeBron James. I mean, Kawhi didn't even play last year, so it's like only a net positive here. Fascinating, but that's like I said, that'll probably be the end of the NBA for at least for this until we get closer to it starting again. But it's July 21st, and we're getting these. I mean, the NBA hasn't even turned off. It just turned off. I mean, it's just slowing down on July 21st. I mean, it's like I think we start up in October. So August, September is like 2 months off season for the NBA. That's insane. Congratulations, Adam Silver. You're doing a great job, buddy. And all of your owners should be very happy with you. You've done a great job taking care of the NBA. All right. Let's hop into the Major League Baseball. I don't have much to talk about here. We had our All-Star game, the All-Star game and Home Run Derby, and the American League won again. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about And this, and mind you, this is actually a rather interesting Major League Baseball season, in my opinion. I think it's very interesting to have the Red Sox and Yankees be two of the best teams in the league, and I think the Astros are better than both of them. So I mean, the American League is stacked. They have They have the three best teams in baseball. And this week we actually had a huge trade with Manny Machado getting traded to the Dodgers for a package of prospects. I mean, that's huge. But it doesn't really matter what baseball does. This is something that was shared by 538, but I believe the credit goes to Vox Populi Polling. This is favorability ratings of Major League Baseball players, past and present. And I actually want to ignore the favorability. I want to go with the unaware. There's three columns: favorability, unfavorable, and unaware. So when they polled these people, they asked them if they like somebody, don't like them, or they don't know who they are. So let's go by unaware. And so Babe Ruth is our top. He was 11%. 11% of people don't know who Babe Ruth is. The same for Jackie Robinson. Derek Jeter jumps to 20%. Mickey Mantle jumps to 20%. Willie Mays jumps to 22%. Alex Rodriguez at 22. Barry Bonds at 25. Cal Ripken at 25. Cal Ripken Jr. 25. Mark McGwire 31. Ty Cobb 33. Ted Williams Jr. 39. If you're listening to this stream, you might not even know who any of those are the top 11, and actually the top 11 most favorable, but also in unaware, in awareness. So 89% of people said they know who Babe Ruth is, but for 61% of people said they know who Ted Williams is. But what do you notice if you know anything about baseball? I knew every single person on that list was, but none of those players in the top 11 are active MLB players. In fact, the most popular, Babe Ruth and Jackie Robinson, haven't played baseball. They're not alive. Actually, I was going to say they haven't played baseball in years, but that's true too, and that's because they're not alive. Now Derek Jeter, he's up there. He was the face of the Yankees for like 2 decades almost, but he also doesn't play baseball anymore. Mickey Mantle is not alive. Willie Mays isn't alive. Alex Rodriguez doesn't. Wait, is Alex? Hold on. Alex? I could actually be. I'm wrong, if I'm wrong about it. Yeah, okay. I was like, is he still playing? No. He's retired. Yeah. He's been retired 2 years now. But the top 11 baseball players by favorability and awareness don't even play baseball. You may not even know who Ty Cobb is or Ted Williams is. But by that same token, you probably don't know who Mike Trout is, or Bryce Harper, or Clayton Kershaw, or Aaron Judge, or Mookie Betts. These are the people who follow after those 11 superlative, former players. But Mike Trout came in at 46%. Only 54% of people polled knew who Mike Trout was. He's the best player in baseball. He is a generational player. He is he might end up being like top 3 all time. Maybe higher than that. But I would love to see this same poll for basketball players. I mean, everybody knows who who LeBron James is. Everybody who knows who Kevin Durant is. The fact that Major League Baseball can't market their stars is just amazing. This is the state of baseball. Your best player in the league is less known than former players. And not even like, I mean, I get it. Babe Ruth is Babe Ruth. And I don't even see Hank Aaron on here, which is surprising. I mean, Babe Ruth, Jackie Robinson, I get why all these are up here, but Ty Cobb and Ted Williams? And the fact that Ty Cobb has a 48% favorable rating? Like, more people like him than they know. Not than they know, I guess, but yeah, more people like Ty Cobb than know who Mookie Betts is. Ty Cobb was like a racist. Everything I've heard about him is that he was an uber racist dude. I mean, he was like a great baseball player, obviously, but that's just baseball. It is All-Star break is now over, so I guess you have the stage to yourself. Basketball is gone. Football doesn't start until but football starts preseason in like 2 weeks. So we won't be stuck waiting for you, thank heavens. But I mean that's where baseball is. If I'm how far it has fallen to you're a generational player. I mean, if you looked at this for a basketball, I would imagine number one you would see on here would be Michael Jordan, but number two would be LeBron James. And then three, like, that's your best player ever, which is where Babe Ruth is. He's your best player ever. And then your best player right now would be number two. Whereas for you, they're number 12. Because no one watches baseball. Because I actually was watching PTI the other day, and they had Rob Manfred on there, who is the commissioner. You probably didn't even know that. But he was the commissioner for baseball. And he actually had some really good ideas about how to speed up the game and hopefully make it more relevant. It has fallen out. It is slowly being just consumed by soccer, which is fine with me. And as you can see, I'm a huge Braves fan. I just baseball can't be a 3-hour game. There's not enough happening. They have to introduce a harder pitch clock. Honestly, I would almost say just make it 6 innings, but that's crazy. But that's almost where I'd go with it. Baseball just needs to be relevant, and it is not. All right. All right, for our final topic, NFL made its way back into the negative headlines about players kneeling because the Miami Dolphins basically they had to submit like a chart on how they were planning on doing player discipline for the upcoming season. So they submitted it and it leaked. And there was a possible 4-game suspension for a player kneeling. The NFLPA, as you can imagine, was not okay with that. And it just basically blew up again. Because, I'll be honest, I don't really know why this thing's so big. I don't really understand. I really think that it comes down to, I get it. There are racist people out there, and some of it is due to racism. Getting upset with black players kneeling over violence is ridiculous. But I think part of it is that people want their life and their interests to be segmented. They want it to be, sports over here, politics over here, separated. But life isn't like that. You don't have robots on the field. Life isn't black and white. It's gray. It's an amalgamation of everything. These players on the field are not, like I said, robots. They are humans who have feelings, and when they see people get, I mean, if anything, I think that it is I laud them for caring. All this was about police violence and policemen, shooting unarmed black children and black people, adults included. And so the players of the NFL knelt to protest that when the anthem was going. I get it. You want things to be separated, but they're not. These people, these players that you watch and that are amazing, they're humans who care about other humans. And I want our players to be more than just players. I want them to be role models, not just rich guys who are good at sports. And I also support what they're protesting and how they protest it. It's completely nonviolent. It doesn't harm anyone, even though it hurts some people's feelings. And to be honest, I don't see how it's offensive. Kneeling during the national anthem seems like a flag going at half mast. It is someone bowing before the issue, saying, I can't, I am not at full right now because of what happened, because of the injustice and the disrespect that is being shown to the flag. Because if anyone is disrespecting the American flag in this, it is the policemen who are shooting unarmed people, unarmed black people. How are those not the people that we're angry at? How are we angry at the person who's saying, hey guys, this is really bad? You're shooting the messenger who's not even who's upset about it. Good. I'm glad they're upset. We should all be upset. Policemen and women need to be out there doing their actual jobs, which is to protect us. If you can't handle it, if you can't de-escalate situations, you can't handle the stress, you shouldn't be a policeman. Pure and simple. That's what we should be protesting. We shouldn't be boycotting the NFL because the player is kneeling. Well, anyway, so this whole thing blew up in the NFL's face again because the NFLPA basically told them to pound sand about their possible 4-game ban over kneeling. And the NFLPA has filed a grievance, as has Colin Kaepernick and Eric Reed, who can't find jobs because of the whole kneeling thing. And of course, bring this boy up here. Of course, our boy Donnie Joe Trump, the president of the United States had to inject himself, and I have the tweet up with a retweet from Bill Simmons, where he says, "Oh, I guess Donald Trump says the NFL national anthem debate is alive and well again. Can't believe it. Isn't it in contract that players must stand at attention, hand on heart? The $40 million commissioner must now make a stand. First time kneeling, out for a game. Second time kneeling, out for season / no pay." And then Bill Simmons replies, I rolled over in Helsinki, but the NFL commission needs to be stronger. Making a jab at Trump about his absolutely pathetic showing in Russia. Well, that's all I'm going to say about Donald Trump. He can shut up. And we need to... I mean, I'll be honest. I was on the fence. I love the NFL. But I was slightly on the fence about this season, about about whether or not to watch it. I really don't care for the NFL's stance on human rights and the NFL's stance on race relations and the NFL's stance on player safety. Now they're getting better on player safety, but the way that the owners treat players, in my opinion, is not okay. And as we talked about last week about the NFL is not in a great place. I think they need to do whatever they can to clean up their game and to. I mean, look at the NFL. I mean, sorry, the NBA. It's a 90+% black league. It is thriving right now. But they treat their players correctly. They're like players have rights. The players can express themselves. I mean, like I said, this is all part and parcel to why the NFL, I think, in 15 years will be on the downturn. I think that they're going to not, and that's not even from people watching it, which is already happening. I just mean from a player talent and player athleticism. They're not going to get the best athletes, and honestly, they shouldn't. Anyway, we'll see what happens. The league finally engaged in NFLPA on this one, so they're going to actually they're going to actually have talks with the NFLPA. With 99% of their league. I know the players own the team, or the owners own the teams, but your leagues are nothing without the players. Literally nothing. So they're going to get together and hopefully make a better decision on this. And they need to strive towards, player empowerment, player expression, and player safety. Somehow without ruining the game when it comes to player safety. But I don't know how that's gonna work. All right, well that's all I have to say. But please, please follow, like, subscribe wherever you're listening. We're on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play, wherever your podcasts are. We live stream every Tuesday at 8:30 with a generally, either going to be political or cultural. This week is actually going to be cultural because I saw 8th Grade, Bo Burnham's amazing new movie on Thursday night, and so going to be reviewing that and reviewing kind of an overarching like we're going to do a retrospective on his career about his multiple comedy specials, his YouTube life, like everything to do with Bo Burnham because I'm a huge fan and I thought his movie was great, but we'll go into why it is great, why you should see it. I know it's rated R, but you should why every teenage girl should see every teenager should see 8th Grade because it was a fantastic film. But we'll go into that on Tuesday, 8:30 Eastern Time at twitch.tv/2M2S, and we'll do like usual, we'll do the Q&A afterwards. But wherever you're listening, please follow, like, subscribe, and I appreciate you listening. Give us that 5 stars on iTunes. Whatever you can do, help us get out there. I really appreciate you, and I'll talk to you Tuesday.